wood has arrived, it's time to make the shelves. The price was actually very similar between Wickes and B&Q. It was literally the difference of 10p. Plywood is in the garage, which I will take you out there in a moment. I don't think you've been in the garage before. And we're going to cut down 3 pieces to go on the top. 1, 2, 3. I won't do those sides just now, which I can get out of one piece of 2,400mm by 1,200mm plywood. I've gone for structural on top. Don't know if I love that or not, so I'm going to have to sand it back to make it look nice. And then non-structural on the bottom, but it's very thin on the bottom. I think the non-structural possibly looks better, but Lauren likes it. I think once it's sanded and stained, it would all look good. So let's go to the garage. Also, I did the plinths yesterday. Once I had my cut list, I made a start at trimming down the plywood, which wasn't easy without a track saw or a straight edge. In the end, I ended up making one with the scraps of plywood, which made the rest much easier. There we go, 3 shelves done. So they're all the same size right now. They are 35 centimeters long and 186 centimeters wide. The issue that I face with the alcoves in the living room is the walls just aren't straight, and this is the sort of part that I'm kind of worried about a little bit. Basically, I just want to make sure that they obviously fit, because I know that the kind of wall sort of goes a little bit like this. The back will be slightly thinner than the front. I'm just going to sort of do it a little bit bigger. I've got the resources of the wood to do so. Cut it to size and then slowly edge it in, trim off bits as I go so that it all fits in there nicely. Now it's been sanded, I don't mind it actually. But next up, let's get into the house. I guess you now can call it a shelf, since there is actually something there and you can put things on top of it.
The next day.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lauren.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And coffee as well,
Should I open it now?
if you like.
Dad, what is it? She likes
She
it.
does like it.
Dad, you can help me. Are they my garden shoes?
You got your garden shoes.
Oh. Yellow.
Some nice yellow Crocs.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bev.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All shelves, top parts of shelves are now done. As with every single job that I do in this house, I learn something new and work out ways to do things better. So because these walls are such odd shapes and none of them are perfectly square, I purchased this little tool, a little ruler which you can bend to a certain angle, and it's got a little dial on it as well. I'll put a link down below if you need this. Basically put it into the corner of the wall, make sure that it's all level, tighten it up, and it tells you what angle it is. I didn't have it configured correctly, but as you can see it's 0.4, which means it's 0.4 degrees off of 90 degrees. This tool really great for making sure you get the right shapes. That way you can trim off bits as you need it. And I've also discovered the easiest way to put things in, rather than sort of trying to put them in straight, is to put them in at an angle and then gradually move them down, which helps to know like what amount to cut off, because you can kind of work it out from there. If you can see this, this is why you kind of don't want to do it that way. Even though I have, even where I've been doing it at an angle, it's still knocked off little bits of paint which is really frustrating. Next up is to put the bottom pieces on. I've cut one of them. This one here is cut. And these two here are kind of rough cut, but I need to make sure that they fit the same way I've done the other ones. Those ones are a bit easier because they're really thin. They're 3mm plywood, so they're not very hard to move around. They're quite flexible, and I've also got some clamps which I put on underneath to make sure that they stay in place. So I need to cut those two to size, and also these two to size, and then the next things will be to glue that on, nail it in. I wish I had a nail gun, but I don't. I'm just going to use a hammer and nails. I've also purchased a router. I went for McAllister again because I don't really feel I need to have a router a lot. So I went for a wired router, and I was quite impressed by the SDS drill that I used in the previous episode, as well as some router bits. Now the router bits are more expensive than the actual router. I think they're called flush bits. I don't know if this is like the American term. I watch a lot of American YouTube videos to understand different things. That's what they call it. I don't know if it's called something different in the UK, but it's basically got like a ball bearing on the end, and you run it along here to make sure it's flush with something. So in this case, it will be flush with the battens that are on the wall. I'll do that for the top and the bottom, and then come in with some edge banding. Just purchased it off of eBay. The place, again, I'll put this down below if anyone needs any edge banding. They have like a variety of edge banding which goes from like 10mm up to I think 150mm. So really wide stuff. This is 70, and basically just goes along here like so. I've put a bid on an iron. I know that sounds crazy, but we don't have an iron, we have a steamer, so I need to buy an iron, so I bought a busted second-hand one, which will do for the job. That goes on like so, and then you just trim off the edges as you need it. What do you reckon, Dot? Not looking too pleased. A little bit? Somewhere for you to climb? I've wood glued underneath. I'm using Gorilla Glue. This stuff here, I need to get some more stuff because I'm out. I'm using these nails. I think they're potentially roof nails, but they do the job. Hammering in the nails as best as I can, and then coming back with this little thing. I don't even know if this is actually what it's for, but popping that on the nail head and just giving it a smack so it goes below the surface. And then when I get some, and probably once everything is all completely done, I'll just come back with some wood filler and just fill over those before staining the shelves. I came back a few days later to attach the bottoms. These were glued, held in place with clamps, and then nailed in.
So I'm super happy with what James has managed to do with these shelves. They're looking very, very good. I can't wait for them to be completely finished and stained, and then I get to dress them, which is the part I enjoy. So yeah, really excited. But as you can see, James nicked quite a fair bit of the paint, so we are going to have to repaint, which is a bit annoying, but he said it couldn't be helped. But yeah, once I have decorated the shelves, I shall show you guys and probably film myself doing that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed today's video, and we shall see you next time. Bye!